Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Okay, so this episode was a lot. Okay, this episode was 43 minutes long, and in a lot of ways, I felt like it didn't really need to be as long. And I think the biggest part that really drew it out was Gabby and Stefan. Now, here's the thing about Gabby. I know that Gabby is a very proud woman, but it's situations like this that makes it very difficult for me to feel bad for her. Okay? Because when Stefan comes in there and tells her, hey, listen, listen, I'm filing for divorce, this is it's done, it's a wrap. One second. She's like, well, what's the rush? And I'm like, what do you mean, what's the rush? Bro, have you not been sitting there seeing what you've been doing the past couple of days? You've been wanting to sit there and sue him for like all his worth. You've been dividing up the house and everything like that. You wind up sleeping with his brother, and you want to sit there and ask, what's the rush? Are you kidding me right now? So he pretty much is like, we can't come back from this. I can't get past what you've done. And she's like, I can't get past what you've done. And then for some odd reason, they decide to go through memory lane and start addressing stuff that happened from the beginning all the way up until now. And then they talk about, his vows and everything like that he said during, I guess, their anniversary. And it's like, it's somewhat painful to sit there and watch because it's like, they both clearly love each other, but they've done too much and they can't go back, and the pride is just too much, specifically for Gabby. And the reason why I sit there and I point out Gabby is because up until this point, Stefan has been sitting there trying to get back with her. He's been sitting there trying to get back with her, and she's just been sitting there saying no and no, and you know, even her own brother. Before this happened, her brother was like, you got to find a way to move past this because you clearly love each other. You can't let this one bad decision mess up a perfectly good, loving life that you can have. So it's not like she didn't sit there and try to get wise counsel or gotten wise counsel before this whole thing. And while he's going through all this, at any point in time, she could have been like, no, let's not do this. Let's sit there and try to fight for our love. But she chose not to. She chose not to. And she agreed. She was like, yeah, you're right. I think you should sign the papers, even knowing that's not what she wanted. So then when he left, she starts crying, and I'm like, I I don't want to sit there and say your tears didn't mean anything, but it's like, what's good as those tears if you had the opportunity to do something, but you chose to get in your own way? So why am I feeling bad for you? Like, all those tears don't mean anything because you had an opportunity to do something, you chose not to. I know it comes across as heartless, but let's be real for a hot minute. Why do you, if you're a Gabby fan or you feel bad for her in the situation, please write in the comment section and let me know why. Um, EJ comes over. Now, long story short, he told Paulina that he got the Stefan situation under control and that he is pretty much recanting his story. And Paulina asks how, like he's really going to sit there and give her a straight answer. He doesn't. He's just like, hey, listen, um, I got that situation taken care of. You don't have to fire me. Paulina's like, well, Melinda's not coming back, so I kind of stuck with you for now. So he goes her to the hospital, and Gabby at one point is upset with him and starts lashing out with him, sort of saying, you're responsible for the end of my marriage because you gave him advice, so you told him that Stefan couldn't really get the image of us out of his head. And I'm like, boom, don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't sit there and lash out at him for something that you could have fixed. But eventually she does realize that, yeah, you know what, this is on me. I shouldn't have lashed out at you like that. And EJ's like, listen, you've never been known for being a quitter. You want to fight for this marriage, fight. But she's like, too much damage is done, and we can't go back. Which I don't believe, but I believe that people tend to get in their own way, like her. Now, Leo runs into Charlotte and Thomas with Julie, and he didn't know that they don't know about their mom being alive. So he's like, congratulations on your mom, on the good news about your mom. Now Thomas doesn't know, and Julie gets a little kind of upset. She already wants to sit there and brush him off, and now she's a little annoyed and upset. So he covers by saying, he's the Tooth Fairy, and your mom has been, promoted to, like, I don't know, special angel or some crap or whatever that he just came up with, right? And it seemed like it did the job, the trick or whatever. He also gave him money, and Julie was a little kind of annoyed, but I'm like, to be fair, this is exactly what you were warning Chad of. Can't be upset with him that he didn't know. This is what's going to wind up happening. Now, Fabi, or whatever the her name is insisting on Chad that, she doesn't want to sit there and tell the truth to the children. It's too soon. And honestly, to tell you the truth, she doesn't want to do it because she doesn't want to feel more guilty than she's already feeling. One of the things that Chad said was, you think living in that mansion is any better? And he did sit there and say that you're avoiding us. And you're avoiding him. And to be honest, I'm surprised his patience has not ran out sooner. But, he's like, we got to tell him the truth. And she convinces him not to do it. But then she also comes up with an alternative. So when the children gets there, she lies and says, I work with your dad or whatever. I'm a friend of your dad at the newspaper. Julie comes in. Julie's not happy. Julie's like, you can't keep doing this because we ran into Leo and he almost told him the truth. We can't keep this up. Now, on one hand, I get where she's coming from. She's not entirely wrong. On the other hand, I'm like, at the end of the day, they're the parents. You're not their parents. You might be their grandparents, and that's fine, but you are not their parents. Okay? So, on some level, you need to sit there and kind of stay in your lane. Now, Fabi is like, we should go to Paris, and hopefully I'll get my memories back. And if I don't, then we'll sit there and tell them regardless. So pretty much at this point, she's just stalling. Leo comes in, talks to Roman about, that he has to sit there and lie to children, and, he has to sit there and cover up, and it's just really stressful. And also, Hattie got fired because she's an idiot. I mean, he feels bad because he felt like they had a friendship or whatever, and, he also feels like he blindsided her. But it's like he did it for the right reasons, and didn't you also think that you have a friendship with Marlena? So I don't really understand what that's about. I guess it kind of attests to him that he can be a good person at times. He can also be somewhat realist though too. Like, I mean, Hattie did that to herself. Now Ava was sitting there talking to Rome, and long story short, Rome is like, listen, if you want the job, you can have the job, but you should find out some stuff in if you still have the job with the bistro, or if he got back together with her. So she leaves. She talks to Stefan, and she's like, "Are y'all two back together?" And he pretty much is like, "Hell to the no." She feels bad, but she's also happy that she got a job, and she can start paying Roman for his generosity and his patience of being behind so much on rent. Which I'm also kind of surprised by. I'm like, at some point, you should have probably talked to him and been a little more real with him. I mean, the worst thing he could sit there and do is yell at you and maybe sue you, but he's been letting you stay there and he's been very understanding. So the fact that it got to that point where he had to sit there and sit you down and talk to you like you're 5 about something that, like, I don't know, I just feel like she's a little too old to be sitting there doing stuff like that. I know people do stuff like that in real life, but still. What else? Anyway, I feel like that's about it, more or less. That is the gist of the episode. I might have missed a couple of things here or there, but overall, you get the picture of how the episode was. If I missed anything, write it in the comment section, or better yet, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. I'll see you in the next video or live stream.